Hi, so for the mobility today, we're going to continue to work through the hip area. This is a selfish thing because my hips are sore, so I'm doing this for me and for you. So we'll go back to our drawings here. We're going to focus on this connection here initially. This is the tensor fasciae latae, this kind of funny shaped blue muscle there. And then we're actually going to go into the IT band to take some pressure off that area as well. So we'll be doing 2 rolls today. We're going to start on the right side, and all you'll need for today is a small ball, like a lacrosse ball or this trigger point therapy ball. Okay, I'm going to tilt this down. And then it's helpful to have a block or pillow for support, especially for the second release that we'll be doing. We're going to find that TFL or tensor fasciae latae by going to the side of the body and then rotating slightly forward. We're working in this area right about here. So I'm going to start this right about where if I put my hand in my pocket, my palm would be. And then I'm going to lay down on that side with my opposite leg out. Now this is where a block might be handy for you if you don't feel comfortable just suspended here. But it might take some pressure off of the ball, and we want a lot of pressure. We want, if a scale of 1 to 10 is what we're looking at as far as pain goes, we're looking for like an 8, 10 being really painful. You need to get off the ball. Maybe you can't take a smooth breath. So here's the ball underneath me, as you can see. I'm at about a 7. Our initial 30 seconds to a minute, depending on the area and the build up there, is really an opportunity for us to let the fascia relax so that we can get to the deeper area where the problems generally are. That feels better. So once we're deeper, just starting to happen right now, we're going to feel that the pain is either where we are or maybe adjacent to where we are in a lateral side to side or in an up down area. So mine's a little bit lower than the ball, just put it that way. So I'm going to slowly move myself up so that the ball travels lower. And if you remember that picture that we looked at, that drawing, there's a lot of kind of seams around that muscle. Right now I can feel myself on the seam between that TFL and the IT band, and that's where your anchors are going to be. The IT band and the muscles around it, when they're looking for stability, are going to try and fuse together. That's a really simple way of putting it, but just think about it that way. When we use the techniques of myofascial release, self-myo, or if somebody else is pressing on us, what we're really trying to do is not break that up, we're trying to spread it out so that it can rehydrate and recirculate. We're just at almost 2 minutes, so let's really drive towards the pain here, putting a little more pressure, a little more weight on it. And like we've said in the past, or I've said in the past, you're looking for the map. If your body is radiating pain to another area and it's like, wow, I feel that in my hip, you're probably on a spot that needs attention. It's pulling too much on the associated joint because there's too much fascial buildup. So that's been over 2 minutes. We're going to use the pressure of our hand to lift our hips up, pushing into our hand. And we're just going to go ahead and sit back into a child's pose, rest for about 30 seconds here. Let's go ahead and go to the second roll, and then we'll go to the other side. So in the second roll, you might want your block down by your lower leg or ankle so that your knee isn't suspended in space. And then essentially, I'm dividing the space between where my groin is, level 2, and where my knee is, the top of my kneecap, in half. And I'm going to put that ball right in the center of that space. So like splitting the thigh in half, ball halfway there. Then I'm going to roll slowly side to side, and Just kind of let the ball find where it needs to go. Start my timer. And you can already see my legs resting on that block, and I'm glad because my knee wouldn't be happy without that there. I can feel already the pressure into my knee. I can feel the pain is more on the front side than the back side, but I'm going to stay here for a little while longer and allow the ball to get deeper so that it can get a little bit more specific to where I need to be. Now I can feel it's also above the ball. I can also feel my kneecap was pulling up because my quad was tight because this is painful. So I'm relaxing that. Ooh, hurts so good. I'm going to lay down all the way simply because my shoulder doesn't really want me to be in that position. And now, if I want to, I can put more pressure on by kind of lopping my leg over this way, and do that slowly like I did because it changes things, to say the least. I'm going to get a little bit more support here. Spoil myself. And again, just to give you a peek, that's where the ball is. And it is important to have support if you feel like you need it, so that you're not pulling back and tense, because we really want to relax into the mobility. And if you feel yourself shaking, like I can feel my whole leg is kind of, that's what we're looking for. You could see my foot, my leg, now that it's off the block, is really bobbing. What that is my body's used to a pattern of being really, really bound up in that area, and now I'm pushing back on that pattern. My body's like, no, that's not what I'm used to, wait. And it will stop bouncing eventually. There's just a ton of tension built up in there. Let's see where we're at. About 10 more seconds here. Really moving towards where I feel I need it, and you can see the legs really bouncing. All right, so to get out of this one, I like to slowly bend this knee, and then I'm going to roll back. That just takes some of the pressure off of this lateral part of the joint. So now we're going to go to the TFL on the second side, first roll. So we'll find that. Again, if my hand was in my pocket, it would be right where my palm is, right about there. And then I'm going to lay down, making sure that I have my block within arm's reach. Set my timer. And right away noticing that this side is not at all as bad as the, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. It's just as bad. And that sometimes happens. Initially, when I laid down, my body protected me, my muscle, the fascia within it hardened up to protect me. And then once I continued to breathe and talk, my body loosened up, and then I found the problem underneath where it was hiding. Let's see if it helps a little bit. Yeah, it's good. Just to give you an idea where the ball is, it's right there. I'm going to move a little bit because I can feel if I move a little bit lower, right up against the IT band there. Yep, that's the same. Now I'm riding like an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. And there's a lot of theories about rolling the IT band. We're not rolling, we're staying still, right? So if you're rolling over an area like the IT band over and over, you can really compress it against the muscle. We're actually compressing the IT band so that we can release the muscle. That's why moving on a roller is very different than staying still. The reaction of the body is entirely different. It's not to say that moving on a roller is wrong, but there's a time for that, and it's not for actual recovery. That's more for getting warmed up, getting loosened up. I'm gonna move one more time. Oh, there it is. About 15 seconds left. And we'll push into our hand to come out. We're going to go into the left IT band now. So we'll split the difference in the length of the thigh. We're going right in the middle, pretty much right in the middle from front to back as well. And then I'm going to make sure I have my block down low. I'll put it on the high side. And this handy too. Okay. So here we are. Fair amount of pain. Yep. Already at like an 8. I know this about my left side. This side, whenever I run downhill, I tend to get a locking sensation in this knee. It's nothing new, but if I run too much and I don't mobilize enough, it starts to come on. Hasn't happened in a little while because I've been rolling a lot more, but definitely tells me when I haven't rolled enough. And so unlike the other side, I don't think I'm going to bring this leg over. I mean, I could, but I don't need to, so I'm not going to, but you can. Let's take that block out, see what, oh yeah, there it is. And so I'm moving but slowly so that I can really maintain the depth. And then I'm focused on relaxing and breathing. You can see my leg is now shaking. It's kind of what I'm looking for. And I got about 40 seconds left, and that's going to be a long 40 seconds, but that's okay. I always say it's paying it forward. I do this now, and I can run downhill without pain. It's so worth it. It's really trying to relax the muscles around the ball so I can get the most out of this painful last half minute. And now we'll bend our knee and come on up. So I do want to address one thing before we turn off here. A lot of people ask me about rolling out their hamstrings when their hamstrings are tight. One, hamstring should be fairly tight. If they weren't tight, your body wouldn't function optimally. They are very tendinous. However, if they've built up scar tissue, like you've torn them like I have, rolling them can be beneficial. It's difficult, and it's best to do it with a practitioner so that they can really show you what to do. If your hamstrings feel tight, focus on rolling out your quads first. See what that gets you. A lot of the time, the tight quad is setting the pelvis in a position that's just aggravating the hamstrings so that they feel the tension when you can really get a lot out of it by releasing this area. I'm going to put together some rolls for the hamstrings next week, having said that, so that you guys can experiment with that. Okay? I hope this finds you well. Hope you're hanging in there. We got to do this. So let's do it right. Take care. Peace.